dedication. I was dedicated to my art, to my craft. I can only remember since I was a kid, which we talked about. I was always dedicated to everything that I had to do by schooling of my mother and loving the business and wanting to make everything as good as I can make it and perfect. And you can't be perfect all the time, but I try to be. And in those days, it was very rough during the early television days because you got around the industry that's where they said, oh, Milton Berle, yeah, he's a pain in the ass. Boy, he makes you do it over and over and over and over. Retake. No, not retake, film tape-wise, because we didn't have it. Let's do it over again, please. I'm in search of perfection, which I tried the best to get all my perfection in there during those early years, and I did the best I could. Well, you see, getting a reputation as a perfectionist is good and it's bad, because they put the name perfectionist in a category as if they don't understand the business and not as dedicated as the perfectionist. She does this, he does this. Lucy, she's a pain in the ass. They used to call Lucy a pain in the ass. God rest her soul. They used to call Desi a pain in the ass. But they got the work done, and they wanted perfection. Of course, they were not live, but whatever, they didn't do it live. But I was speaking to Bill Cosby some years ago. I gave him an interview for Saturday Evening Post, and I mentioned to him, "You're a perfectionist." He says, "Milton, I like you, but don't say that word. It's the worst word in the world." I said, "Why, Bill?" He said, "Well, when they tag you as a perfectionist, they have a different connotation of what they mean. They mean, oh, you got to be exact. You got to know." And Lucy said, "Listen, if you don't know your lines, don't show up." Wow. But it was all for dedication and to make things the best way that we could make them. And I think that was the drive that drove me on, dedication, in my whole career. Finally, when we got big stars, Hollywood stars, people that were on television, big names, Bogart and Bacall and all the great dramatic actors that I did scenes with, they seemed to be the most easiest ones I could get along with, because they themselves were perfectionists in their own business. The ones that I had the disputes with were the people that were in a lower echelon than they were, and not as talented. And they took it as an assault, as an insult, which they shouldn't. I used to iron them all out. Right? I never had fist fights with anybody. Could have led into it. They might have won and kicked the shit out of me. I don't know, right? I don't think so, though. And not at my young age. Anyway, the disputes that I had led into big arguments sometimes, and a few people walked off the show, and I lowered myself or hired myself by going after them and say, "Please forgive me." And what am I going to do? I needed them, right? And I didn't mean to insult you. It's just I'm under pressure, and I didn't do cop-outs, but I really was very honest with them. But it wasn't all honey, baby.